This is step 24. It is the facing. This is actually the sequence pretty much to finish off the jacket. This is a true facing. This is a piece that doesn't cover a whole piece or thing. It gives protection and it mainly covers the back of your zipper. Makes it lay nicer, makes opening and closing it look better if people see in there. So the first step is to stay stitch along this upper neck. I want to point something out. That stay stitch, this seam is 5/8 inch seam. I'm going to pull it over here a little bit closer. And I'm going to remove my pattern now. My markings are all in. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I may want to starch that before I go and start to sew it. This is 5/8 of an inch, and it would go through that dot. Just like that, going up. But that only leaves like a 1/4 inch right here. And that's okay. Because this side is our next step, talks about finishing this edge. This is the edge that is open free inside of the jacket, laying in there. And so it's always best to have some kind of a trim to that edge or finish to that edge, whatever you want to put there, or however you want to do it. Now, I have overcast them before. I have zigzagged them before. I've used a serger before. I think this one's so nice and lightweight. I don't want to put one layer in here to overcast. I think what I really want to do is turn it back after I get this stay stitching in, and then I will press it back and we will do a little narrow hem on it using the machine so that edge is finished. All right, I will see you when my stay stitching is done. I'm not going to move it for this, the camera around for just this quote short little thing here. I'm going to pause it, go and get that in, and show you what that looks like. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back from top stitching, or stay stitching rather, not top stitching. And this is my center front on these pieces, on the facings, these two facings. And so, the rule is like trying to start with one place and come around to like the front. So I did. I stitched here and then I stitched here, that direction. And I didn't make it extra small. I just made it my normal stitch. Straight, though. This was a straight stitch now. And remember our little talk about having a weird amount over here on this side? That is true. You're supposed to. And then this, if this is a 5/8 inch seam, you want it at about a 1/2 inch, which is 4/8 or an 1/8 of an inch away from where the main stitching is going to happen when we stitch it onto the garment. And that is ready for our next step. So the next step in 24 is actually finishing the edge. Oh my goodness, I paused enough. I thought I had gotten another drink. For my throat is getting really croaky today again. So I'm going to pause one more time and go and get another drink. Hang on, I'll be back. There, I hope that's better. So now it says to finish the inner edge. Well, this is our neckline and our center front. So this must be the inner edge that they're talking about, because this is the center edge. This is the neck edge. That must be the inner edge. It is. So finishing that inner edge, you can do all kinds of things. You can do a baby hem, tiny little baby hem. You can use an overcast machine. You can use a serger if you have it. with your blade down, because you don't want to take a whole bunch off of there, because then it makes this little thing meeting up here not lay very nicely. Okay, so what am I going to do? I had told you a little bit ago that I am going to actually turn this under and stitch it. And I think I'm going to give it a little bit of a steam memory before I go over to the machine. So what does that mean? It means that I'm going to turn this like this. And just lay the heat on there. Little steam. Just so it's starting to fold that direction for when I'm at the machine. So I'm going to continue to do this little pressing of this little 1/4 of an inch all the way along here, and I'll meet you at the machine. See you then. I'm at the machine now, and I've got the memory pressed into my little edge here, the inner edge that we're finishing. And now I'm going to use the wobble stitch to do this. You don't necessarily have to. I am going to be consistent in doing that. But again, this is kind of what works best with your fabric and what you want to do to it. So we'll hold our edges just a little bit. And since I know that we're going to stitch this on like that, and this end is going to be enclosed, I am not going to backstitch up here. I'm just going to hold my threads and get started. Making sure that I keep my little edge turned under. And then I'm stitching about 1/8 of an inch away from the turned edge. And now this will look a little stretched out when you're done. Please don't overstretch it while you're doing it. Oops, just concentrating. But it's going to have that little ripply edge that's just going to need to have some steam on it, and it will come back into shape. And there we have it. See how I said it's rumply? Well, when we're back over at the iron, you'll be able to see what I mean by smoothing that out. I'll be over there soon. I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll go over there and meet you there. Okay, I'm back over here at the ironing table, and I am going to steam this to release some of that rippling, kind of steam it back into its position. It just takes that. That's what I need to do. I'm going to let that cool down, and then we are done with number 17. I'll do it on the other side too, and we will 24. I was looking at P17. We are done with number 24 step, and we will be ready to move on to number 25.